What is going on, Alabama fans? Chris Daughtry here with the Alabama Football Report by Chat Sports. Coming up on today's video, we're first going to talk about give a overall transfer portal recap for you guys, because we never actually, dove into everything just in one single video for you guys. So we're going to look at all the transfer portal, moves that Alabama made during this offseason. But first up, what incoming transfer do you guys think will have the most impact this season? Let me know in the comments section of today's video. All right, so Alabama in the transfer portal here, they lost 23 players after the season had ended, and they have only added 7 players from the transfer portal anyways. Now, they did also add a punter, and they also added a tight end, but neither one of those guys are actually scholarship players. So for the most part, we're going to pretty much stick to those scholarship players here for Alabama. And that right now puts the scholarship count overall right now. Alabama is at 80 out of 85. So there is still a possibility that they could go off and add some more transfer portal depth once that spring transfer portal window's open. First player we're going to talk about here is Kelby Collins out of Florida. He's got 2 more years of eligibility left here for his time at Alabama, if he does stay, the 2 years anyways, how the transfer portal can be. He was named a freshman all-SEC team in 2023, and really in 2024, his production really did get hindered from a position change. He started off that first season at defensive end. It ended up moving to that edge rusher spot in 2024. You can see right here, man, just the production for him really did, get hurt because of that move. I think the body size, is a little bit different for those 2 positions. And you also have to take into account the other players on the team and on the roster when you make a position change. There might be some guys that have been working there before, and it's just how it works. They end up, being higher on that depth chart than you are, and that's kind of what happened to Kelby Collins in his second year at Florida. But we do expect him to play more that bandit position for Alabama this season, which makes 4 bandits for Alabama right now on the roster. You got LT Overton, which hopefully, he can continue and just continue to grow and have a good season for Alabama this year as well. You got Jordan Renaud. I thought he ended the season pretty well. Got, some looks towards the end of the season at that bandit spot. Keon Keeley, former 5-star player, number 1, number 2 overall player, a couple years ago coming out of high school. Can't wait to really see what he can bring to the table for Alabama. Hopefully he does stick around for Alabama. And now you also have the addition of Kelby Collins. I think all 4 of these guys can really make a difference for Alabama this season and get some pretty solid playing time. LT Overton's obviously going to be a starter, but who plays after LT Overton? That's going to be a big question going into next season. Second transfer portal incomer addition for Alabama is Nikhai Hill-Green at that middle linebacker spot. Now, this is his last season of eligibility coming up here, for Alabama. Last season, he was named to the All-Big 12 team in 2024, and this will be the 4th team that he has played for so far, and that's not necessarily, the worst thing in the world, considering the production that he has put up, for those teams anyways. He's been pretty good all the way around. And at the end of the day, it's just going to be a solid piece for you at that linebacker spot. We don't know how long. Well, I guess we do know how long Deontay Lawson, it was reported a couple days ago that he was supposed to be back for Alabama during their fall practice anyways. So, we'll see if that's more the beginning of fall practice, the end of fall practice, kind of where it's going to be at. And I think that is very important because he was that green dot guy. When he went out, Justin Jefferson became the green dot guy. So we'll see if Justin Jefferson kind of starts, off with that. But Nikhai Hill-Green, whether or not he plays at the beginning of the year ahead of Deontay Lawson, we're just going to have to see. But throughout the season, I think he's going to get some solid playing time there. And then you also have Daryl Duke Johnson coming in, Luke Metz, Abdul Sanders as well at that middle linebacker spot, along with Caden Jones and QB Reese as well, which really, man, the depth for Alabama at that linebacker spot really did get hit in the transfer portal. You had 4 linebackers hit the transfer portal for Alabama this offseason here. Jason Ross, Sterling Dixon. The one that really does hurt me the most is Jeremiah Alexander going to Clemson. I was really excited for Jeremiah Alexander, but unfortunately it just did not work out here at Alabama for him. And then Justin Okoronkwo, another one that I think, really does hurt. He ends up going to South Carolina. I thought the upside for Justin Okoronkwo was going to be really, really big. So specifically those two names right there, Jeremiah Alexander, Justin Okoronkwo, those do hurt to lose in that linebacker room. So let me know here at the pinned comment of today's video, are you guys worried about the linebacker depth for Alabama going into next season? I think you got to feel pretty confident about the starters that you have going out there for Alabama, but one of those guys goes down, you never really know how things are going to shape out there. So let me know what you guys think. Type Y for yes or N for no at the pinned comment of today's video. Are you guys worried about the linebacker depth for Alabama going into next season? All right, the third player here, we're going to stick on the defensive side of the ball here. You got cornerback Cam Calhoun out from Utah out of the transfer portal as well. He's got a few more years of eligibility left, 3 more years in total for him there. He also committed to Michigan in that 2023 class. So, Courtney Morgan was already gone off to Washington by that time, but you got to think, the years leading up to that when they were going through the recruiting process, you got to think that they had at least a little bit of a relationship there during that recruiting process. And he is from Winton Woods, Cincinnati. That is the same high school as 2025 Wolf signee Justin Hill as well. So I do think that is very notable to note as well. I thought Cam Calhoun played pretty fantastic last year, honestly, for Utah. Man, 9 PBUs. I think I read that was like 4th in the conference there for Cam Calhoun. So, definitely a guy that's going to be a ball hawk for you no matter if he's playing at that cornerback spot. Maybe they could even play him at the Husky spot. He's a guy that can be very versatile. That's something that Kane Womack really likes to utilize. We have him right now at that cornerback spot here for Alabama, and that is a spot that, is a little bit light still. He is the only true depth cornerback, I think, for you. You also did bring in Dejon Lee and Chuck McDonald as well out of the 2025 recruiting class. So those are two guys that I like as well. Obviously, Dejon Lee is a 5-star recruit in this 2025 class. So we'll see what happens for Alabama. I think Deshaun Jones can also play that cornerback spot as well. Red Morgan, he plays the Husky spot. So that's they use that like as the nickel spot, but I do think Red Morgan in a pinch could also play that cornerback spot. And you also have Jalen Ibakwe. They say that he's going to play more on the offensive side of the ball next year. We'll see what happens for him, though. If Alabama has a need at that cornerback position, I think there's still a chance Jalen Ibakwe could slide back over to the defensive side of the ball and pick up, some reps if Alabama needs to. But like I said, I do like what you have coming in that 2025 class as well, but you are still just a little bit light, I think, at that cornerback spot. We'll head over to the offensive side of the ball here in just a second, but today's show is presented by Game Time. You guys can get tickets to the big game now with Game Time, and sure, yeah, it can be a little bit expensive, I know, but, going down to New Orleans, that could be very fun. You and your friends and the family, you guys can make, memories that'll just last a lifetime. And you guys can also use the Game Time Picks feature. Just makes getting tickets to see, live events even easier. Whether or not that's, concerts, comedy, theater, sporting events, Game Time has it all. Just filters out all the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. They have the all-in pricing feature as well. You toggle this feature on, it shows you the total up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout. They also have the panoramic views from your seat. You guys can, see exactly what your seat view is going to look like in the app before you buy, just like you see for that Alabama versus Kentucky game up there as well. There's plenty of events to go to in Alabama, whether that's Huntsville, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, down in Mobile. There's tons of things that can happen, and you guys can get your tickets very fast, very easy, and very cheap on Game Time. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. But again, create an account and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS, that's Chat Sports, for $20 off your first purchase. Like I said, terms do apply, but use promo code CHATSPORTS, that's Chat Sports, for $20 off your first purchase. Links in the comment section and the description of today's video. So download Game Time today. They have last-minute tickets at the lowest prices, all guaranteed. Going over to the offensive side of the ball now, we'll start off with the offensive line. You got Cam Dewberry, offensive guard out of Texas A&M, and for the most part, he's been pretty decent for Texas A&M. Hasn't played a ton in the couple years that he has been there, but he's been pretty decent as a backup for them anyways. He's got 1 season left of eligibility back in 2022. The Athletic named him on the freshman All-American team, and I do think he is the leading candidate to replace Tyler Booker at that left guard spot. You see his career stats right here for you. Over 1,000 snaps for Texas A&M, only 3 sacks allowed. So that is a very, very positive thing to see from him there. And you talk about, the inconsistencies of the offensive line. Don't really know what you're going to get going into next season, whether or not that's Olaus Alinen or Cam Dewberry or somebody else. I think Geno VanDeMark also in the running there for that left guard spot. There's going to be a lot of question marks for that offensive line, especially at that left guard spot. And I do think it is important to note as well, there's a lot of versatility there. With Cam Dewberry. He's played most of his snaps there at that left guard spot, but has also taken a couple snaps over there at the center position as well as the right guard spot. So don't really know, where he's going to play, or probably most likely going to play at that left guard spot, but don't necessarily know who is also in the running for that spot. I think you got a couple names to monitor there. Cam Dewberry, Olaus Alinen, Geno VanDeMark, definitely the top names, in my opinion anyways, right now to monitor at that left guard spot. I do think it is going to be a competition going into, A-Day and spring camp for Alabama. So let me know here in the comments section, pick a left guard for Alabama. If you got to start one of these guys, let me know who you would want it to be. Type KD if you want Cam Dewberry. Type OA if you think Olaus Alinen is going to be the starter there. Or type GV if you think Geno VanDeMark can be the starting left guard for Alabama next season. Going over to the wide receivers here now, Isaiah Horton. This is probably the biggest name, in my opinion, I think that you got out of the transfer portal here anyways. I think he fills a massive need for Alabama. That's the biggest thing there. He is a redshirt junior, so that means he has 2 more seasons of eligibility left. Like I said, you lost a ton at that wide receiver spot in the transfer portal. You lost 6 guys in total at that spot, and this does add another big body wide receiver at Kalen DeBoer, and this staff really does like to utilize. He's 6'4", 205 pounds. So you just look overall about what Alabama has at that wide receiver position. You're starting to add some more big body guys as well. Talk about Derek Meadows, that you added in the 2025 recruiting class as well. I think this is kind of just the start of a retooling at that wide receiver position. You got Jalen Hale, who's over 6 foot as well. Jeremy Bernard's over 6 foot as well. But then you got those speed guys like Latsier Brooks, Rico Scott, Ryan Williams. It's just Ryan Williams. He's going to do his thing, right? So, look, he was the 3rd leading wide receiver for Miami this past season, still put up over 600 yards. So I think, if they can really find a quarterback at the end of the day that is able to get some of these, playmakers the ball, I really got a lot of confidence in what Alabama has at that wide receiver position going into next season. We'll come back to the offensive line here. Arkel Nguam, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I'm terribly sorry. It is Nigerian. He moved from Nigeria to Tennessee just a couple of years ago. Got him out of the transfer portal from Ball State. So, mainly here for him, it's going to be a massive depth piece for Alabama at that offensive tackle spot anyways. He was also not ranked as a recruit out of that 2023 class. But, look, moving from a different country, a lot of the times it is just kind of difficult to kind of get on those recruiting boards because a lot of times, those recruiting sites, they want to go out and they want to see guys in person, and that really does add a lot to kind of how their rankings work out. But he does have 3 more seasons of eligibility left here for his time at Alabama. And I mean, what he did at Ball State wasn't that bad. 1 sack in over 100 snaps for them. Like I said, he's going to be more of a depth piece for Alabama, especially at that tackle spot. Jackson Lloyd, you got him out of the 2025 recruiting class as well. I think, there is a chance, you never know, that he could make a run for that right tackle spot along with Wilkin Formby there. But, for the most part, this is a depth piece for Alabama, and I do think it is a big depth piece. There might even be a chance that Alabama goes off in the transfer portal during that spring transfer portal window to maybe add another piece to that, offensive line, especially at that offensive tackle position. Going over to the running back spot now, Draylen Washington, running back out of Louisiana. He's got 1 more year of eligibility left as well, former 3-star in that 2021 recruiting class. And I think also this one as well really does just add as a depth piece for you after you lost Justice Haynes to Michigan during this offseason. That one, unfortunately does sting a little bit as well. He's been pretty decent over the past couple years. I do think he's a guy that, a little bit smaller of a running back, but at the end of the day, he kind of does really remind me of that bowling ball type of running back. So, can be utilized in between the tackles and things like that. So, whether or not, you're definitely going to see Jam Miller. He'll be a starter for you going into next season at that running back spot. Also, everybody really does like Richard Young, some of those other guys as well in that running back room. I do think Draylen Washington might be able to be kind of a change of pace type of back going into next season for Alabama. So let me know here in the comments section as well. Grade Alabama's transfer portal class during this offseason. Grade it A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section for me right now. So the guys that transferred out for Alabama here, we'll start off on the defensive side of the ball. You had 11 total players transfer out on the defense. Jaheim Otis on the defensive line, Hunter Osborne, Damon Payne. That one really hurts a lot. I think Damon Payne was going to play a lot of snaps for you going into the next season. Keanu Coate, him and Jaheim Otis just kind of, quit on the team halfway through the season there. Jahil Hurley, he would have been another cornerback depth piece for you. Don't think he would have necessarily been a starter for you this year, but he might be one of the main reasons, you went out and got Cam Calhoun. That and Devontae Smith also leaving to go, closer to home, going to Notre Dame. King Mack also making a departure. He came from Penn State, came to Alabama, and then now going back to Penn State. And like we mentioned just a minute ago, a couple linebackers also went in the transfer portal for you. Ja'Shawn Ross, Sterling Dixon, Jeremiah Alexander, and Justin Okoronkwo. And then on the offensive side of the ball, you also lost 12 players to the transfer portal. Kobe Prentice going to Baylor, Kendrick Law to Kentucky, Caleb Odom to Ole Miss, Manuel Henderson to Kansas, Jaron Hamilton ends up going to Arizona State, Amar Jefferson to Tennessee, Miles McVay, one of the offensive tackle pieces that you would have liked to stick around, obviously going to North Carolina, Nikhai Beatran. Transferred from Texas A&M last offseason, now on his way to Syracuse. Elijah Pritchett, see you, bud. He is going to be playing for Nebraska next season. And then Dylan Lonergan, really, this season, he was playing when those 3s and 4s at that quarterback spot, which was, only like 1 game this season. He actually did go in, as that QB3 for you, but he is going to be going to Boston College this next year. And then Justice Haynes going to Michigan, and Ty Lockwood also going to Boston College.